Good afternoon. My name is Connor O'Malley. It's 2 minutes past 3 and you're listening to BS News Radio. Horror and devastation in Peru. The South American country was struck by an earthquake last night. Early estimates suggest that at least 1,500 houses have been destroyed, leaving an enormous amount of civilians homeless. It has been confirmed that more than 100 are dead, many more are injured or have lost most of their property. The EU has announced a common donation of £7.8 million towards the rebuilding, and a further £3 million for immediate relief such as food, clean water and clothing. In France, President Sarkozy has announced stricter policy on croissant breaks for French policemen, taxi drivers, wine salesmen and airport security officials. Presently, it is customary for any Frenchman to be entitled to at least 10 minutes every 2 hours to eat a croissant, but the French government believes that cutting back on this could lead to a 12% increase in productivity. Sarkozy's statements have been met with great resistance from the public, and French unions have announced that more than 1.5 million people will be going on strike this coming week. In other news, the Nobel Prize for Physics has been awarded to Russian-Dutch physicist Andrei Grime for his groundbreaking research into the levitation of frogs using magnetic fields. Grime worked on his Teslan magnet experiments for approximately 23 years, in which he sadly killed over 4,000 frogs. While the amphibian population might have suffered, we must remind ourselves of the fact that it was all in the name of groundbreaking science. In economics, this year's spending review will be published on the 20th of October, and already it has become quite controversial. Our financial editor, Shah Cumberbadge, will be dealing with this issue thoroughly later on today. In sports now, disgraced former Tour de France leader Michael Rasmussen has found an interesting way to get back into the spotlights. After being pulled from the Tour by his own team Rabobank while on course to win the prestigious event, Rasmussen tried in vain to get back into the professional circuit this year. Despite being in excellent shape and winning many races, no major team could be found willing to enlist Rasmussen's services. Currently, Rasmussen has been making Danish headlines in a completely different fashion. At this moment, the cyclist looks to be on course to win the Danish version of Dancing with the Stars. Rasmussen's wife has been quoted stating that Michael is dancing his way to the top. Here at BS News Radio, we eagerly await his results. As the Premier League table starts taking shape, all eyes are on London today. Reporting live from Stamford Bridge, here's Paul Barnsby.
Thanks, Connor. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Paul Barnsby, your commentator live from London at Stamford Bridge. The score at the moment is 1-0 due to a goal by Chelsea striker Didier Drogba. It's quite calm on the pitch, so I'll bring you up to date first. In the first minutes of the game, it was the Arsenal side that took control of the game, with a good header from Gunner striker Chamak, only inches wide with a stunned check. The resulting corner almost hit the net, but somehow Koscielny managed to head it over the crossbar, despite standing only a metre from the goal line. Chelsea keeper Petr Cech had to get his gloves into a good strike from Arshavin. Arsenal midfielder Nasri was only 8 centimetres off target with a low shot. On the other side of the field there was this constant threat of Ivory Coast striker Didier Drogba, who tested Arsenal keeper Fabianski with an angled drive. As almost always, the big Ivorian helped Chelsea take the lead after 39 minutes. It was a brilliant cross by Cole, which ended up at the near post that was met with a touch of Drogba. The score might have been against the run of play, but the Chelsea supporters didn't seem to mind. Scored half-time, 1-0. Right now we're in the 83rd minute with a pass from Mikael Shen finding an Alka, who gets a kick from Koscielny. What's the referee going to do about this? Yes, it's a yellow card for the Arsenal defender. The distance of the free kick is about 25 yards. Alex is having a look. This might be a chance for him. Last season he hit one even further away past Liverpool goalie Pepper Reina. Drogba standing by the ball as well. Will he go for a second goal? I think it looks as if Alex is going to be the one today. Yes, he hits it. Beautiful! What a mighty shot by Alex. He hits it perfectly in behind the stunned Lucas Fabianski. Chelsea doubles their lead and I don't see Arsenal getting back after this strike. It was magnificent. Alex shows us his Brazilian fury. It's 2-0 and Chelsea will probably stay on top of the league. And now let's have a look at the other scores with almost every match this 7th Premier League weekend finished. Liverpool lost 2-1 at Anfield because of a brilliant first half from the promoted Blackpool side. This will get even more pressure on Liverpool manager Roy Hodgson. And in Manchester the score between City and Newcastle remained 2-1 Newcastle lost Hatem Ben Arfa early on in the game, who broke his leg due to a terror tackle by Dutch international Nigel de Jong. And yesterday it is, the matches were Birmingham against Everton 0-2, Everton won that game. Stoke won against Blackburn 1-0. Sunderland and Man United shared the points 0-0. Tottenham won against Aston Villa 2-1. West Bromwich Albion against the Bolton Wanderers remained 1-1. And West Ham United Fulham 1-1. Wigan Athletic won against Wolverhampton Wanderers 2-0. My name is Paul Barnsby, wishing you a very nice Sunday. Back to you, Connor.
Thanks very much, Paul. And now, as announced earlier, financial editor Shah Cumberbadge will take us through the different aspects of this year's spending review. Good afternoon, Shah.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm going to talk about the spending review for this year. What is it about? What does it mean? And what kind of impact will it have on the economy? I will try to answer all these questions with the help of two world-renowned financial experts. Our guests today are journalist Paul Sheffield, financial editor for the London Times, and Jordi Swift, financial editor for The Economist. They will give their views and their opinions on what they think of the spending review and explain to us what kind of impact it's going to have. I would also love to hear from you. If you feel like expressing a particular view, just text to 77291. As you might know, on the 20th of October 2010, the Chancellor will make a speech and present the spending review to the Parliament. The spending reviews have been an important part of the British governmental planning since the late 90s. This year's spending review will cover 4 years from 2011 to 2015. It set firm and fixed spending budget over several years for each department. This year it's turning out to be very controversial, mainly due to the tough choices and decisions the coalition is going to make. First of all, how did the UK get into the current situation? Britain has been running a budget deficit for many years, financing spending programs through loans. This is not uncommon, even among the most developed economies. Then, the financial crisis in 2008 hit. The crisis and the recession that followed it forced a huge increase in government spending, with billions spent on stabilizing the financial sector, stimulus measures, and welfare costs for the rising number of unemployed. When the economy then continued on a downward spiral, it resulted in a fall in tax income, widening the gap between government income and government spending to its current record level. These factors mean that this year's spending review is different to the previous one. Due to the scale of Britain's deficit, the 2010 spending review will force some tough choices about the spending on the government. The coalition wants to implement a completely different approach to reduce the deficit successfully. It comes down to this. In this year's review, certain changes will have to be made, especially regarding the part played by the government in society. The coalition will also have to make clear, collective decisions led by the Prime Minister and chaired by the Chancellor. The government has told us that its approach to these tough choices will be guided by the principle of freedom, fairness, and responsibility. Good afternoon, Paul. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Shah, and thank you for having me.
Paul, why do you think the government are making these cuts?
Well, Shah, it's for a number of reasons. Firstly, public finances are in a poor state. In the 2009-2010 financial year, the budget deficit reached a record £155 billion. So the government is clearly spending a lot more money than it's generating from tax revenue. As a direct result of this, the country has had to take out loans to make ends meet, so to speak, adding to the UK's growing debt. The actual debt at this moment is a staggering £900 billion. Obviously, something has to be done about this, so the government are planning quite some spending cuts, so the budget deficit can be reduced and the country can start paying back some of those loans.